Oh, sorry. Welcome, WWE, Reddit. I got distracted there. Just wanted to cover a couple of quick posts that people have been putting up on, I almost said Twitter, which has now been called X, but we won't get into that. And I'm sporting my Grayson Waller shirt as well. Who is or was your favorite ring announcer? Well, Samantha Irving. Irving? Samantha. We'll just stick with that. Is probably, definitely my favorite female. Yeah, I'm going to do that thing. Female ring announcer of all time. My favorite male. Uh, ooh. Howard Finkel, because he's the Fink. I grew up with the Fink, the golden era. He's the Fink. There was nobody else. But in modern, recent history, we've gone through a lot. The Tony Chimmels, I almost said to Julia Roberts. If he switched sides, Justin Roberts would be Julia Roberts. This guy. You have probably seen him when he does his singing gig. His little side job there is Michael Bublé, also known as Greg Hamilton in WWE. Love this guy. He used to miss the whole scheduled for one fall, and then the crowd would chant one fall. It was great, and I feel like he's underrated, underappreciated, because oftentimes it's always Samantha, which I could totally see why. And I would even say that, with all due respect, Samantha is better than Lillian Garcia. Yeah, I just went there. Fight me. In my Grayson Waller t-shirt, okay? Love Lillian Garcia, and I think one of the main reasons was, well, she was good. And it was kind of cool, I have to admit, because everybody used to always be male, male, male. All the ring announcers, all the broadcast teams, always male, 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 male. It's like, how is there not one girl? Right? And then we got Lillian. It was like, oh, okay, cool. And she was good. But then she came along and it was like, huh. Oh, well, okay then. Awesome stuff. So that's my quick take on that. Howard Fink for nostalgia, and because he was really good, don't get me wrong. And then for, like I said, a girl, Samantha. But I also really, really appreciate Greg Hamilton as well as Mike Rome that we currently have, and they're good friends. I don't know if they still talk or whatever, but yeah, it's a shame. I don't know what he's up to. I kind of read up on him a little bit. I've had a couple of back and forths with him a couple of years ago on Twitter. Really, really nice guy. So that is that. Let me know down below what you think, because again, A, I legitimately care, and then B, the ulterior motive is it helps with the algorithm because there's engagement on the video. I'm no fan of the Dirty Dom Dom, but he's possibly the best seller on the entire roster at the moment, in my opinion. Well, let's take a look at what they're talking about. Baboink. Like, he just sold that stunner. Wow. Oh, yeah. But Austin Theory is really, really, really good for like a current superstar that's always active. I feel like Austin Theory is really good as well. And so's Dolph Ziggler. But unfortunately, Dolph Ziggler, we don't get to see a lot. He's probably, unfortunately, near the tail end of his career. No offense, I'm assuming. Uh, but yeah, for someone who's regularly scheduled on television all the time, he's absolutely becoming great. I think he's already great at what he does. He's probably as well one of the top heels at the moment that just gets so much hate. It is ridiculous. But yeah, for moves, selling is a huge thing. It really puts over the superstar, the wrestler that you're fighting. And yeah, so I definitely agree that he's definitely one of the best out there right now for selling. What would be next for Roman Reigns after he loses the titles? So I feel like this is a tough one to answer, because as much as I love Roman Reigns, with or without the titles, with or without the bloodline, there is no denying that without that dynasty of having the Usos with one of the longest reigning tag team championships of all time, I think they might have actually broken it. I don't always keep track of all the records and stuff like that. Either which way, when they had the Usos, the Bloodline had the Usos and Roman Reigns, the whole thing, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, one of the best managers in the business in the history ever. Probably the only good one, really good one right now. Wow. Amazing as a whole package. Strip that all away. No Usos, practically no more Bloodline. Are you really a faction when it's just a couple of people? Paul Heyman's not a competitor. You don't necessarily have to be a competitor. I don't think. I think they could still be a faction. Solo, Roman, and Paul Heyman. No titles. What do you have? What would be next? If I was a part of creative, and you're going to find out real quick why I'm not a part of creative, is I would have him do, after one of the biggest title reigns in the history, I'd have him have some off TV time to himself, whether he goes to Hollywood, does a couple of movies, is gone for 4, 5, 6 months, not a year, that's too long. Like a good 3 to 5 months or something like that. Have him come back and have it so that he's had time to think and reflect, and it's humbled him. He's seen the error of his ways. Maybe he tries to build back up the Bloodline and they become face. I know that sounds dumb. I'm just saying quickly, knee-jerk reaction without really giving it much thought. Or if you scrap that, I'd have Roman either which way, whether it's with the Usos or not, I'd have him come back as a face, as someone who's had time to think, like I said, and has matured. Because he's going to be pushing 40 in a couple of years as well. And generally, people 40s and up usually aren't like the face of the franchise, right? Usually, from what I can remember off the top of my head here. So yeah, this is a tough one. But the first thing, what would be next? It would be get off TV for a bit. Get off TV. I think that would help a lot to grow his character for whatever it would be when he comes back. You can't just change overnight. We wouldn't want to just see angry Roman Reigns without the belts or nothing. Or maybe we do just for like a week or two. And then out or off into the shadows, riding off into the sunset. Okay? So let me know down below what you think would realistically be next for him. How would you build him? What storylines would you have him in after he loses the titles? And then would he get a rematch and all that kind of stuff? Because generally champions, when they lose their title, they get that rematch, right? And then who should he... Anyways, that's another story for another day as to who should dethrone him. Cody Rhodes. Okay, so let's move on to the last one really quick here. So glad there... Yeah, he made a mistake, whatever. So glad they're getting the screen time they deserve. Shinsuke Nakamura, Chad Gable, and I'll tie it into what are the chances they give that World Heavyweight Championship to Shinsuke. I am so happy for Chad getting that extra exposure. We already know how amazing he is. Actual, like, just, I don't even know the words. A lot of people refer to him as Kurt Angle 2.0, which is so accurate. I mean, he was in the Olympics, from what I understand. I don't know how well he did. I don't know if he won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Either which way, he's strong as shit. And he's probably, in the last couple of decades, easy, if not ever, when it comes to actual in-ring technicality, like actual old-school wrestling. Not just slapping and chopping and drop-kicking people out of the ring, even though that can be impressive, depending on how it's done. He's got to be one of the best. He is so technical. It's unbelievable. I want him to get a title around his waist. He absolutely deserves it. He's definitely put in the time. There was Kofi Mania. Now, to me, there's definitely Gable Mania. He deserves to have his moment. And for it to last longer than 24 hours, like when Zack Ryder got the Intercontinental Championship. That was so dumb. But I'll save that rant for another video. So yeah, I agree. Very happy about that. This guy. Oh man, I love Shinsuke. The stroke of genius by WWE is to have Shinsuke talk to us in his native language of Japanese rather, because he could speak English, but right, he struggles a little bit to cut like a in-depth promo. When they did that vignette with him there on Monday Night Raw, and he was talking Japanese, but they had the subtitles, he sounded just like wow, like it was just I was in awe, right? Because there was no language barrier, there was no restrictions, and we got to naturally understand what he was saying because the subtitles. Like it was, how did they not do that before? I mean, obviously, if he's like in the back and, oh, Shinsuke, can I have a word with you? Yeah, it's going to be different, right? But when it's like like recorded kind of thing, they should keep doing that with him. I think it makes his character seem a little bit stronger in a way. Not that you always need to be able to like communicate much, but I find it helps to grow the character a lot, unfortunately. Right? In-ring skills and your mic skills, even if the mic skills aren't the best, if we can at least understand clearly what you're saying and you have a lot more to say than just come on, right? I feel like that just put him in a completely different level there, and it was just great to see. Hopefully they keep continuing with that. Like I said, I think it was one of the smartest things they've done in a long time. And I do believe now, again, edging, getting closer to that 40s mark in the next couple of years. I feel like in the next year or something, he's got a good build up with Seth there. All it took was for him to backstab, if you will, Seth Rollins, and the whole thing he whispered in his ear, I know about your back, and all that kind of stuff. Just, it was so quick and easy, and boom, we got a nice little storyline. I want to see that. Not necessarily Seth Rollins lose the belt, but if you were to lose it, I would honestly put Shinsuke up there for one of the top contenders to do it. I really do think he's got what it takes. Doesn't have to have a 1,000+ day run, right? And then the whole Chad Gable thing. Yeah, I want to see him. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the world title, but it would be cool just for them to get some gold. These two definitely have put in the time. So that's my quick take on all of that. You can let me know down below your thoughts on any of this or even different things that I haven't covered for two reasons. Because I do give a shit, and the ulterior motive that it does help with the algorithm potentially push this video to be more relevant in the search results when people are looking stuff up, which is what the thumbs up does too. So you go ahead and do that if you liked the video. You didn't like it, that's okay. Go ahead, give it a thumbs down. We'll bend it in half as always. We'll twist it. Did I say that? We'll bend it in half, twist it, and a Kinshasa. Oh my god, I forget the name of his finishing move. The kick that he does. Right in that arm, and busts your thumb off in it. I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. It's making sense to me. That's all that really matters. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.